This is NBC Palm Springs. Breaking news.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Gino Lamont. We begin tonight with explosive information in the search for a missing Coachella Valley couple, and that tops our news tonight.
We charged 2 counts of first-degree murder and also the special circumstance of killing of a witness.
Well, you heard it there. Murder and the killing of a witness. After 3 long years, we're finally learning details about what happened to Jonathan and Audrey. Authorities say they have found their remains, and they can confirm that Jonathan and Audrey knew all 3 suspects. All 3 men are in police custody tonight. Investigators tell us they have solved the case, but they're not offering many details on what they've uncovered. They held a news conference just a couple of hours ago and shared some of the details that they could into the couple's death. And we're learning more about these 3 suspects tonight. Kitty Alvarado, who's been on the case from the very beginning, joins us live in studio with the very latest. Kitty, good evening.
Good evening, Gino. Well, this has been a really long journey for the families and the community that supported them. And now we finally have some answers to the questions: what happened to Jonathan and Audrey? Still, a lot remains unanswered as this case is still active. After more than 3 years, the families of Jonathan Darling Reynoso and Audrey Moran are finally getting some answers on their disappearance in May of 2017. It appears they never left the valley and were murdered. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco says investigators found remains in the Coachella Valley.
Now we are still waiting on the results of the DNA testing to confirm that it is them. However, the investigation that led us to the remains indicate that we did find them.
Riverside County District Attorney Mike Hestron says he's confident the 3 men taken into custody and charged murdered Jonathan and Audrey or helped cover up the crime.
Against Abraham Fregoso, we filed 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 special circumstance for the killing of a witness, in this case, victim Audrey Moran, and 1 count of PC-32 against Abraham Fregoso as well, which is accessory after the fact. Manuel Rios, we filed 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 for each victim, and we filed 1 special circumstance for the killing of a witness. Against Jesus Ruiz, we filed 2 counts of accessory after the fact, 1 for each victim.
Bianco says they conducted hundreds of interviews and served over 50 warrants and found evidence connecting the men to the murders in homes on Burr Street in Indio, where Fregoso and Ruiz lived, and on 4th Street in Coachella. Investigators say those responsible knew Jonathan and Audrey through mutual friends, and the witness to Jonathan's murder, Audrey in this case, may have been kept alive longer.
Any killing is bad, but this was not a particularly easy murder, if there is one. This was very bad.
Because the investigation is active, they gave very little details. But they did say they received information recently that solved this case, and more arrests may be coming.
It would probably be best for everyone if you contacted us and told us your story rather than wait for us to find you.
Lieutenant Walter Mendez says their focus is to hand the DA a thorough investigation.
To ensure that the Moran and the Reynoso family obtain the justice that they so well deserve.
If convicted, the 3 men charged with their murders could face life in prison, and the DA says they have not made a decision if they will be seeking the death penalty. They're expected to be arraigned tomorrow in Banning. I'm Kitty Alvarado.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Palm Springs police are asking for the public's help in an attempted homicide case. They say a man was shot late last night in Palm Springs near Tramview Road and North Indian Canyon. The man was found unconscious in his car with a gunshot wound. The victim is in critical condition tonight. If you know any information, you're asked to call the Palm Springs Police Department.
And a judge has set a pretrial date for July 21st for the 4 men who were convicted in 2008 for the killing of a Palm Springs art dealer. They were granted a retrial last week after a request by 2 of those men. They argued the judge who presided over their original trial was biased against them. The judge allegedly admitted in a recording that he had purposely declined to read motions from one of the defendants, citing concerns that defendant was HIV positive.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
I think there was a lot of wishful thinking around the country that, hey, summer, everything's going to be fine, we're over this. And we are not even beginning to be over this. We have way too much virus across the country.
A reality check tonight from a CDC expert. It has now been 6 months since the World Health Organization warned of a mysterious cluster of pneumonia cases coming out of China. While some countries have the virus spread essentially under control, others like the U.S. are still struggling. The U.S. has 4% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's coronavirus cases. At least 16 states have halted or pushed back reopening plans.
Yeah, and so far, California has pushed back the reopening of bars, and LA County beaches are shut down for the holiday weekend. But Governor Newsom says more restrictions are on the way. He's expected to provide details on that tomorrow. The governor's remarks today were interrupted by Black Lives Matter protesters.
Clearly, we are not in total control right now. We are now having 40,000+ new cases a day. I would not be surprised if we go up to 100,000 a day if this does not turn around. And so I am very concerned.
Yeah, the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, delivers a stark prediction on Capitol Hill about what could happen if the U.S. doesn't act now. Dr. Fauci and others from the coronavirus task force advise the American public to do what the president won't, and that's wear a mask.
All right, taking a look at our local numbers, 662 new cases reported in Riverside County today. That's another new one-day record. 184 of those cases were here in the Valley. 17 new deaths reported countywide. 7 of those 17 deaths from the Coachella Valley. Indio continues to have the most cases, now topping 1,300. Palm Desert still has the most deaths with 29.
As local infection numbers continue to climb, Riverside County officials say hospitals are equipped to handle any surge in coronavirus cases, and every hospital will expand capacity past what they're licensed for. Although rising case numbers are adding burdens on hospital staff, the county says no hospitals are out of beds for any type of patient. But to get a better understanding of how case numbers are affecting our local hospitals, our frontline healthcare workers are painting a different picture. Their work is getting heavier now with the second surge striking the Coachella Valley. Our Daytona Everett is live outside Eisenhower Health. She spoke with workers who are seeing the daily toll firsthand to understand the toll the pandemic has taken on their mental health. Daytona.
Sarah, for a period of time, for you and me, it might have felt like things were going back to normal a little bit. But for the healthcare workers, our local healthcare workers, things have never gone back to normal. In fact, right now, their schedules are busier than ever.
So my day begins at about 4:45. Get here, by 6, and then take over from the doctor who's getting off, who's been here since 9 o'clock the night before. Then I start seeing patients.
Andrew Casanova is the chief of staff at JFK Medical Center, and he's also the medical director of the ER.
Certainly been busy.
From the moment he walks through the door, his day is nonstop. On top of treating a room full of patients, he's also in meetings on the side, trying to figure out how to maneuver the pandemic.
It's constantly changing, so we're constantly pivoting and trying to adapt. Let's go this way.
Andrew says the situation has been an emotional roller coaster.
In the beginning, we were all very, very ramped up. We were worried, we focused, we were, prepared, we had plans. And then we did a really good job in California, and then we didn't get the patients as much.
He called it a brief sigh of relief until recently.
And now, all of a sudden, all the patients have come.
It had doubled, and then it tripled, and now we're at full capacity on my floor.
Anne-Marie Bullard is a nurse in a COVID unit at Eisenhower Health.
To be perfectly honest, some days I go out to my car and I cry.
Anne says she recently went through a down period.
We're all tired. We've been doing this day in and day in out for weeks.
But both Anne and Andrew agree it's all a part of the job.
This is the profession that I chose, and it's the best thing I've ever done in my life.
And this is what we do. This is what all of us ER people were born to do.
They say they don't mind doing their jobs if the public can do theirs.
All the public can do for us is wear their masks, wash their hands, and socially distance, and then I'll be happy.
Stay safe, be smart, protect yourself and your family.
When I was at JFK earlier today, there was a line out the door. There's no telling how long this second wave is going to last. That's why it's so critically important to follow those guidelines. Reporting live from Rancho Mirage, I'm Daytona Everett.
All right, thank you, Daytona. Tuesday is a huge day for many small businesses across the country. It's the last day to get the application in for federal money from the Paycheck Protection Program, also known as PPP. More than 4 million small business owners tapped into the funds, but business owners say it was only enough to sustain them for a couple of months. The program will shut down with more than $134 billion in funds still untapped.
But there's still help available for small businesses in Riverside County. A second round of funding opened up yesterday. This round expands eligibility. Businesses could receive up to $10,000 in direct support. Applications will be accepted on a first-come, first-served basis until the end of August.
The U.S. doesn't make the list of countries invited to come into Europe as they're easing travel restrictions. In fact, 14 countries were cleared based on coronavirus numbers. But the EU says the U.S. is simply still too dangerous to let us travel to the continent. Starting tomorrow, the EU will make it easier for Europeans to travel across borders and for select countries to come to Europe on vacation, but the U.S. is not on that list.
We're taking a live look now at our Walter Clark cam in Rancho Mirage down Highway 111 and send things over to Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett, who has a look at our forecast on this beautiful Tuesday. Mike.
Hi, Sarah. Temperatures a full 10 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday, but still remarkably below average thanks to that low pressure system that's well off towards our north and northwest. I'll show it to you in a moment, but here's the big story. 106 is the 30-year average for today's date, sitting at 104 currently. Wind coming in lightly from the east will make that afternoon switch towards the northwest a little bit later. Oh, on the north right now, this just in, 8 miles an hour. Humidity sitting at 8%. It's a bit on the dry side out there as well. Feeling like a summer day, but not obsessively hot. Futurecast showing that low, as we were discussing yesterday, retrograding back up to the north slightly, which means that it stays along the western edge of the North America, and that's going to keep our temperatures below average. It'll look for another couple days. In fact, we'll see temperatures that will dial back slightly over the next 3 days. 101 on Wednesday, 103 on Thursday, and then warming up going into the Independence Day holiday. Ridge of high pressure builds across the west. It's going to heat us up. I'll tell you how hot it gets and how long it lasts coming up.
All right, thank you, Mike. Well, while many American families are slowly coming out of quarantine and are no longer stuck at home, for some children of immigrant parents in the East Valley, being stuck at home was simply not an option. The pressure mounting in quarantine to provide for their families instead of staying at home. Our Regina Ureta brings us their story.
With boxes filled of locally grown vegetables, Jose Castillo from Desert Mirage High School has been working hard to provide.
Provide for ourselves, but also to help my family.
Castillo is working in the fields in the East Valley. He plans to attend college in the fall, but this spring was difficult. He had to adjust to distance learning during the coronavirus shutdown.
Very difficult to get used to, for sure.
Castillo, like many children of immigrant parents, felt an obligation to work instead of quarantine. Minors can work at the age of 12, but they need a permit verifying classes are not in session. But because of financial struggles, activists say students have been working under the table without permits during the shutdown.
If a minor is working in the fields, they need to have the protections that they need to have. As minors, there are certain tools and there are certain jobs that they cannot be doing.
According to a U.S. Government Accountability Office, in 2018, there were nearly 500,000 youth in the country working in the fields. Activists say these numbers are now higher because of the pandemic.
Right now, we know that because of COVID, there's a lot of stress with families. There's less opportunities of jobs.
Castillo graduated this spring, but he still faces the burden of financially supporting his family and paying for his own education at UC Riverside.
Because it's very expensive and I don't want them to worry about that debt. I want to pay that debt myself because I don't want to be a burden to them. You know?
In Mecca, Regina Ureta, NBC Palm Springs.
Join us tonight at 6. We get an exclusive inside look at the new Agua Caliente casino being built in Cathedral City. Some of you may have noticed the construction on the project continues even during a pandemic. We'll also learn what is being done to bring a more desert feel to the project, along with a projected opening time frame.
Well, we're in the midst of one pandemic, but could another one be on the horizon? We're going to tell you what experts said about a new virus that could be coming our way.
Ahead for us, out of control. Dr. Fauci's urgent warning about where we are and what could be next in the fight against COVID. Also, what works and what doesn't work when it comes to face coverings. A new study when we see you back here tonight.
It's back, it's bigger, and it's better. The 4th of July Sell-a-thon is back at your Southern California Ford dealers. It's bigger. Get 0% financing for 72 months on most Ford vehicles. It's better than ever, but hurry. The 4th of July Sell-a-thon ends soon.
Great people, unrivaled community spirit, and the Subaru Love Promise. It's why drivers who love their cars keep coming back to Palm Springs Subaru.
I love the way Palm Springs Subaru has taken care of us over the years. We've had now like 11 Subarus in our family.
We're all Foresters right now.
I love mine, man. I can fit everything in there when I go camping, when I go boarding. I think we'll always drive Subarus.
With a sunroof.
With a sunroof.
Now through June 30th, enjoy 0% APR financing for 63 months on all new 2020 Ascent, Forester, Impreza, Legacy, and Outback models at Palm Springs Subaru.
Buongiorno from Myers Italian Cafe, voted #1 Italian restaurant in the Valley, where we serve the largest glass of wine in the Valley for only $5. Great happy hour, food and drink specials. Join us at Mario's for lunch 7 days a week, only $7.95. Dinner starting at $9.95. Choose some veal, steak, seafood, chicken, and pasta. Remember, the largest glass of wine in the Valley for $5. A dinner and a glass of wine under $15. Hey, ciao!
When you want energy savings and a true lifetime warranty, call Window World.
When you want local ownership and the highest quality windows and doors for the best price, call Window World.
When you want to reduce dirt and dust and beautify your home, call Window World.
Hi, I'm Co, and this is my daughter Charlotte, and we're your local Window World owners.
Call us today and schedule your in-home estimate with America's largest window replacement company.
Get quality and value with our current offer of 7 windows from only $28.44.
Not only do we stand behind our windows, we stand on them.
It's back, it's bigger, and it's better. The 4th of July Sell-a-thon is back at your Southern California Ford dealers. It's bigger. Lease F-150 for just $299 a month for 36 months with your qualified trade. It's better than ever, but hurry, the 4th of July Sell-a-thon ends soon.
President Trump's campaign has scrapped plans to hold a rally in Alabama next weekend. There's growing concern, obviously, about the rising coronavirus cases in that state and across much of the South. The campaign never officially announced the plans for the Alabama rally, but Trump was expected to travel there ahead of the Senate race.
Chinese researchers identify a new swine flu virus with pandemic potential, but experts are insisting it doesn't pose an immediate threat. The G4 virus is a descendant of the H1N1 swine flu of 2009. It appears this virus has been circulating in the pig population since 2016, with few cases of pig-to-human transmission. But the potential of human-to-human contagion has not been confirmed.
Sad news tonight as comedy legend Carl Reiner passed away late last night at the age of 98. Reiner was a legendary stand-up comedian, actor, director, producer, writer who graced the silver screen and the little screen for decades.
Whatever you were going to say to Laura, I would rather you said to me.
Okay, Rob, if that's the way you want it. Rob, you're a beautiful girl.
Carl Reiner's son, Rob Reiner, a Hollywood legend in his own right, shared the sad news on Twitter this morning. Carl got his start acting on Broadway musicals, but eventually he was one of the writing of one of the great shows of all time. He's best known for creating and starring in the Dick Van Dyke Show. He also, of course, was a writer on Your Show of Shows. But since 2016 election, he's garnered a whole new generation of fans thanks to his politically charged tweets. With a career spanning more than 60 years, he leaves behind a legacy of laughter spanning generations. Join us tonight for our 6 o'clock hour-long newscast as we'll have a full look at the life and legacy of the one and only Carl Reiner. We'll be right back.
At NBC Palm Springs, we're looking out for you. You ask, we investigate. NBC Palm Springs.
We're living in uncertain times, but as Californians, we'll get through this together. If your income has been reduced or you've lost your job or your health insurance due to the coronavirus crisis, Covered California is here. We can help you find the health insurance you need to protect you and your loved ones. And you may even get financial help to pay for your health insurance. So if you or someone you know is without coverage, visit coveredca.com to learn more or enroll today.
At Comfort Air, we're dedicated to serving our customers with only the best. The best customer service, the best trained technicians, the best warranties, the best prices. Our team is dedicated to the service you deserve. Your comfort will always be our #1 priority. Make the easy choice the #1 choice, Comfort Air.
From the Valley Plumbing family, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in the community. The health and well-being of our employees, customers, and communities we serve is our primary concern, and all CDC guidelines are strictly being followed. As an essential business, Valley Plumbing is open to help you with whatever plumbing needs you may have. We have great financing options and low interest rates. For 67 years, big or small, we fix it all at the best prices.
Big or small, we fix it all at Valley Plumbing.
The 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians announces the East Valley COVID-19 testing site, a partnership with the Borrego Community Health Foundation, the City of Coachella, the Desert Healthcare District, and the County of Riverside, providing easy COVID-19 testings for residents in Coachella, Thermal, and Mecca. The East Valley testing site provides testing Fridays from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Call 1-833-624-1097 to make an appointment today.
Welcome back. Well, temperatures, as I mentioned earlier, about 10 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday, but still delightfully below average. If you look at the little bug down here, currently 103 degrees. 106 is the average for this time of year. So not a bad day, not a bad way to close out June either. We get to stay mild for a couple more days because the jet stream's still in the neighborhood. Now, it will move up slightly into Northern California and Southern Oregon there, but as long as it's in this range here, we'll keep ourselves out of that 110 range. That will not be the case as we go into the Independence Day holiday, though. I'll track you through that in just a moment. Take a look at the big picture. Whole lot of nothing going on, but normally when we're looking at something like this, it's because of the presence of high pressure. Nope, that frontal boundary that swung through yesterday was so strong that it just continues to keep cloud cover away from us and pull in that clear maritime air. It's fantastic stuff. One place it's not so great is in Florida. They have been setting some records. Orlando, 97 degrees today with about 85% humidity. It is miserable there. Dallas is pretty much in the same boat as well. Some 80s in New York and Toronto, 104 in Phoenix, and some 60s up and down the West Coast. Meanwhile, it's hot in Denver as well. Currently 90 there tomorrow. 104 was our high today, 2 degrees below average. And look, we tucked it into the 60s overnight. 69 is where we got to. 75 is the 30-year average for today's date. No watches or warnings here, but as we discussed yesterday, there is a lot of blowing dust, especially in the central valleys from Bakersfield to Visalia, and that warning will be in place through Saturday. So if you do have some travel plans along I-5, expect some gusty winds and low visibility. Red flag warnings were in place in Vegas yesterday. They will be in place again tonight. Could possibly be back again tomorrow. It's breezy and dry there. Meanwhile, temperatures will pull back slightly tomorrow. We'll see temperatures in the low ones to about 104. We'll see that light afternoon flow coming in from the east like we saw today, switching around to the north and northwest as we saw earlier. And a constant for about 2 weeks in a row now, one of the byproducts of the pattern that we're in is that patchy fog pushing into the inland valleys there. So again, 215 corridor, I-10 and Highway 60 will all have some patchy fog, visibility down to about a half a mile in the early morning hours of Wednesday. Speaking of humidity, 45 degrees will be our dew point on Wednesday, and then we dry out going into the weekend there. That'll be about 15% humidity. Not too bad. We can handle that. 87 currently in the Yucca Valley, 102 in Coachella, 104 is your number in Palm Springs. It's 70 up in Big Bear and 87 in Cabazon. We were talking about those winds earlier. They make that switch around. We'll pick up slightly as we go into the later hours around 8 or 9 o'clock, but by the time we get to about midnight tonight, all of that mellows out, gives us that ventilation that we love without being too gusty. Temperatures will decline very nicely tonight. We'll break into the 70s around 2 a.m. That'll start us off in the low 70s on Wednesday. We warm into the low 100s tomorrow with dew points in the upper 40s and lower 50s. 101 in Palm Springs tomorrow, 103 in Indio, 94 in Joshua Tree, and 70s up in Big Bear. Independence Day is going to be a hot affair. In fact, we'll pop into that 110 to 113 range through Sunday and then see some slight cooling as we go towards next week.
Hamilton, one of the most beloved musicals of our time. I'm Manny the Movie Guy. Lin-Manuel Miranda's masterpiece is headed to streaming, perfect for the 4th of July. Friday, only on NBC Palm Springs today.
Why are you waving your arms? Because I like dancing. My teacher is helping me. She learned at Vassar College. Well, I'm going to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore to become a doctor. Don't you have to wait until after high school? Yeah, it's only like 9 years away. Baltimore is far away. I want to go to USC. Stop waving your arms.
Palm Valley School, where second graders have college conversations.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. This summer, we'll be traveling in a cabin where every seat is premium and all baggage flies free. So fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the panoramic views. Nissan is offering non-stop routes to summer.
And now is the best time to get into a new Nissan. With no payments for 3 months. Plus, we'll cover your payments for up to 2 more months or get 0% financing for up to 84 months.
Kids and plants are a lot alike. They both grow well with regular, scheduled care. For plants, that's giving them the support they need. For kids, that's following their vaccine calendar for the first 2 years. When you get your kids their vaccines on time, you give them the support they need to grow strong and grow well. IEHP, helping you reach your destination health.
At MJ Custom Furniture, get your furniture custom made at factory direct prices.
I had a custom sofa made at MJ that fits my home perfectly at very reasonable prices.
I have a very large room and I didn't want just an ordinary sofa, so I went to MJ and got a perfect one custom made.
Come into MJ Custom Furniture. Get a designer look that's elegant and really affordable. Come in today. We're on Highway 111 in Rancho Mirage.
This portion of the news is brought to you by La Quinta Brewing Company. Taste the sunshine.
Well, sad to tell you about this, but the IRS says they will not be extending the tax deadline again. The 2019 tax filing and payment deadline is coming up on us now, July 15th. Postponed, obviously, because of its early days of the pandemic. For people who can't meet the deadline, you can file for an extension until October 15th on the IRS website. But again, if you're going to owe money, you got to pay the money and then get the extension.
NASA wants to help stop the spread of coronavirus. The space agency has created a wearable item called Pulse. When a person's hands come near their face, the pulse vibrates. It could help the wearer remember to not touch their face. NASA isn't selling pulses. People who are interested in creating one will have to have a 3D printer, wire, and other materials. More information can be found on NASA's website.
So if you got a 3D printer at home, there you go. All right, we'll be back after the break, but first.
Without the audience feedback, it is going to be tough.
This reminds me of my early days as an actor.
I feel bad for them because it is very awkward.
Are you ready to take AGT into this new era?
We're ready.
Tonight, they'll face off.
The duel is the fight of your life
against their toughest competitor.
Pure elegance versus raw emotion.
Guys are ready to fight.
World of Dance, tonight on NBC. And every Friday, catch an encore World of Dance performance.
What should you look for in a jeweler? It's integrity and value. In Leeds & Son, we have diamonds in all price ranges, for all budgets. Feel comfortable coming in and talking to our diamond experts. We're happy to give you advice. Leeds & Son, the Coachella Valley's diamond experts.
Our Babapedic is much more than just another bed in a box. Come on, let me show you.
Whoa.
Here it's about choice. Choose a budget and feel. Choose memory foam, hybrid, or hybrid plus.
Choose to buy in-store or online.
And choose to be set up in your home.
Or delivered in a box. Yay!
And now we choose to sing.
Bob's Babapedic, from your head down to your feet. It feels like no mattress you felt before.
Bob's Babapedic.
You're ready to drive again, and not just to the neighborhood store. In a new Honda, you can enjoy the open road with powerful performance. And your money can go farther too, because Honda holds its value better than any other auto brand. Your Honda dealer is offering flexibility, like shopping online, so you can purchase with confidence. Get your new Honda today. KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand.
We have the best quality in every price category. Whether it's a $300 watch or a $300,000 watch, or a $300 diamond or a $3 million diamond. It's always going to be the best. Leeds & Son on El Paseo.
This warning is brought to you by the Sevens. You know, some big rigs have caused big hurt in our valley. Don't get run over by their big insurance companies. Call the Walter Clark Legal Group at the Sevens.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6 after NBC Nightly News.